Welcome to week 3. This week we're talking about cell biology. The cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. So we're going to look at all the structures or parts of the cell and their functions, what each part does for the cell. And we're also going to look at the processes that move things in and out of cells. Passive transport is moving things without using energy, and active transport is moving things by the use of ATP energy. We're then going to talk about the um, process of cell division and mitosis. Mitosis has 5 phases. We have interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. That's the division of the nucleus of the cell, or the DNA. And then you have cytokinesis, which is the division of the rest of the cell. We're going to look at genetic traits and how to do a Punnett square or a cross between the different traits. Let's say somebody has blue eyes and somebody has brown, and you want to cross and see what kind of offspring they would have. Then you use a Punnett square. We're going to look at DNA and how it replicates. It's going to make 2 copies where you had one original copy, so that each of the new or daughter cells gets a copy that's identical to the original. We're going to look at RNA and how that gets made into amino acids to make proteins for the body. So there are some videos that I give you for explanation of the different processes, and you have some assignments to practice doing those processes. Each week you're going to have a lab handout, and this week you have cell models. There's an old model and a new model. These are the same as you would have in Anatomy 125 in the classroom. And that your lab handout tells you the name of the model and all the structures that you need to know on that model. And we also have the process of mitosis and those phases. So if we look, we have more lab materials this time. This is what I call the old cell model, and you have the names of the different cell structures pointed out. On your lab tests, will be numbers instead of the name, and you'll have to either write out the structure name or pick it out of a matching type of answer format. We have a new type cell model. It just looks a little bit different, but the basic structures are the same. And then we have some cells from the microscope. This would be interphase, where you have the cell membrane and this granular looking stuff in the cell membrane would be the DNA, which is kind of stretched out and it looks granular. Then you start losing the cell membrane, or excuse me, the nuclear membrane, and the DNA starts to condense and make little rods. This is prophase. Metaphase would be the DNA lining up in the center of the cell. And you have a structure called a mitotic spindle where the DNA lines up. And then in the next phase, the anaphase, the DNA or the chromosomes start to be pulled apart by the fibers of that genetic mitotic spindle. And then eventually the chromosomes separate and the cell membrane starts to pinch. And the cell will pinch into two separate cells instead of the original one. So this is a busy week. You're going to have a lot to do with the cell structures and the lab material. So your assignment chart shows that you have an assignment for testing genetic traits. You're going to do that with your friends. You'll take yourself and 9 people and do some genetic tests on different traits and make a table presenting those traits. And then you're going to demonstrate, if you start out with DNA, produce RNA and make a protein. And there's a video that shows you how to go about doing this. You have your practice test, which is on my lab at Mastering. And the lab, that's the lab handout, which tells you what you need to know for this week for your lab work. So I wish you much success. So get busy and start working with week 3. Have a good one. Bye.